this is just Pelican push-ups. And obviously, just like with ring rows, the higher up you are, the easier it's going to be. So we'll start just with the ring push-ups. We're going to lower ourselves down all the way to the shoulders. And then from here, you'd want to try to externally rotate, either just parallel or as far out as you can. Cool. From here, come back, push up. This is the easiest progression, or regression, I should say. Now, if that's okay for you, you can come down, turn out, and then from here, you're gonna do the eccentric part where you slowly extend your arms. Put it down, come down on the knees, come up, reset, go again. I would lower for 5 seconds, just make sure you're using the whole range and don't suddenly just fall at any point to it. Now, if you want to try and actually coming back from that, if you're feeling strong, you're going to be using your false grip. So I would get some chalk and just chalk those forearms in particular. So this is where you want your grip to be for the false grip. We'll set up in the false grip just to begin with. Lower to your shoulders, turn out, keep the rings next to you, lower yourselves all the way, and then pull up and come up. If you don't feel like you've got the whole range, just lower to the point where you feel strong still, and you can pull up from there. So make sure you don't go to the point of no return. Cool? Now, if you want to load it a bit more, you can obviously walk back, make sure you're more parallel to the ground. Now, the variation that's going to be most intense with these is going to be with feet on the box. So, come down to push-up, make sure you're in false grip, turn out, lower, and then pull from there. As you can see, this is pretty full on. So I probably wouldn't try this until you're 5 weeks in the program.
Can you show us an angle, another one from here?
Cool. I probably wouldn't go all the way in here. So I would reduce the range. Now, if you're a complete savage and you're nailing this, I would try to do Pelican Dips. So you'll need to set the rings a bit higher. Make sure they're the same height. Here, set up in the ring hold position. Lower yourselves down, keep the rings next to your shoulders, turn out, open up, and pull yourself back in. Come up. One more time. So this is the most ultimate savage variation. If you can do that, you should be training in a circus. But yeah, that's about it. Any questions?
What's the most common mistakes?
The most common mistakes is not using the false grip, because that puts you in a position where you can't effectively pull yourself back. So just make sure that you're in that false grip, nice and strong, and play with the turnout. So the more turned out you are, the harder it's going to be. So ideally, you'd want to be somewhere parallel. Those are the two things that you want to be paying attention to. And also be mindful. You should be feeling, once you start in eccentrics, where the point of no return is. So once you start doing the whole movement, you should not be going past that point. That's all I can say for now.
In terms of the shoulder blades, what are you thinking as you lower down? Are you letting the shoulder blades come back, or are you trying to keep them sort of neutral, or is there anything you're thinking there?
You'll try to keep them neutral, but eventually they will have to go into retraction as you come down. Especially if you go into the deepest range, they'll have to collapse. And that's fine because it transfers all the pulling to the biceps. And that's the focus of this exercise, to bulletproof your biceps.
Sets and reps for progressing from the push-up variation to the, say, feet on the box.
Feet on the box. So the push-up variation once, you can do 5 sets of 6 to 8 eccentrics. Then you go to adding the concentric movement. And then once you could do 5 sets of the whole thing, then I would try to play with elevation of the feet. But obviously, you'll most likely have to drop your reps. So I would stay somewhere between 5 to 8 just to make sure you're working that strength and maintaining high quality. So based on observation, a common mistake might be that you try to, as you're pulling back, try to turn the rings back in, and that changes the working position of your bicep. So as you want to focus on your bicep pulling and keep your gains in that area, you'd want to isolate the movement to just the curl, and then turn it back in, and then push. Cool? So just break it down nice and easy into these elements. Curl, turn it in, push up. Don't try to do them all together.